You know, you have to sit and wonder. I don't. You know, when you have things in history that does history reflect in art, or does someone's art become the object that casts a shadow on history? And when you stop and you look over a period of time, you look at DC and it looks a lot like Rome. So did Rome fall, or was it just the systematic government that was taken over again by the people, for the people? Well, what ends up happening anyways, the same people throughout history always seem to jump on a ship and keep going back and forth. So when do we, as a civilized and educated world of people of like minds, and wants, understand something? It's kind of like with Left Eye and Andre Rison, which burnt down his house. Could refer back to a time when the White House was burnt down. It always seems to be a woman. When a king falls, it'll always be because of a queen. And it's not until a king steps up and beheads his own queen do you realize where fear, power, and the breakdown of the fundamentals of a home. See, you could blame many things on government. But when it's a government for the people, made up by the people, which people do you blame? It's kind of like my life's kind of like being the night security watchman at a museum. Or it's kind of like someone pulls the trigger on a gun and tosses it to you and says, "Here you go, kid." It's kind of a touche moment. But see, it really doesn't bother me. Because you'll never catch me holding a gun. You'll never catch me catching one either. See, the difference between most people and myself: some people have to be killed, some people will be killed, and some people are just stupid enough to get themselves killed. But what is killed? It's just a word. Most men think weapons make them powerful. Patience makes you powerful, makes you strong. The ability to realize that someone created history. It's only 300 years old. The world's been around longer than that. Anybody with their own mind and the ability to see past the bullshit can know that. So how do you fix government? You don't. You have to fix the citizens. What's a citizen? Let's say someone's naturally born to the land. And I say, well, aren't we all naturally born on land unless you're born abroad on a ship? No. If you're naturally born on land, just because there's water there, there has to be the bottom of the ocean. Somewhere it's still connected. It wasn't until we had little civilizations pop up that wanted to have their own structure, government, be able to do things when things became corrupt. It's called these United States. I love America. The United States has something else. So, I say this. If I have the keys to the castle, the empire, it's my command. Who in the Middle East wants to trade land for sand and a palace and some nice cars, gold toilets? I mean, I'll take Saddam's palace, and you can have a White House. I mean, fundamentally, that's what's gone on anyways, isn't it? I mean, Rome never fell. It was just never in Rome. Just the people were. It's always been the same place. Greece, just gotta grease the wheels or grease whatever you gotta do. It's just another word. But it isn't until you look and you don't see any trees around where you live do you realize the error of your ways. And then what makes you the most powerful person in the world? Having the ability to plant trees. You know what the Middle East needs more than anything? Trees. The Holy Land has no fruit or vegetables. But yet they don't have cancer or curriculum. They just have prayer, gold, oil, palaces. So I wonder how much a tree would be if it was transplanted and sent to the Middle East. Just one tree, one oak tree, or one apple tree. I bet you that would make a sheik or a prince a very wealthy and almost biblical Old Testament, like Quran solid leader of his people. But I say, if you give him an apple tree, a peach tree, a pecan tree, a pear tree, and a tree for shade, and a tree for them to climb, that would account for something, and it wouldn't be very slim or shady on the records. But then you would realize the foundation just went in the hole, because trees can never take root in sand until you look where I'm at. It wasn't until there was trash and junk buried in the ground that something happened. weeds, wildflowers. Scorched earth calls that. Wasn't until a sky filled full of soot that from somewhere that nutrients then so the lost city of Atlantis is really not a lost city. It's just where the trees and the grass moved to. Something tells me I'm fixing to become very, 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 very wealthy and healthy. Because you don't have to plant trees outside in the sand. You can build a biodome and transplant and build them on the inside, where you can control the climate. And then you give a people an apple.